appendicular skeleton, starting with the pectoral girdle, showing acromial end and the sternal end. Thoracoid process, the scapular fossa, the glenoid process, glenoid cavity, the spine is this bone here on the acromion, the supraspinal fossa, and inferior spinal fossa, the sternoclavicle joint. Showing here is the sternoclavicle joint, and here is the acromioclavicle joint, the AC joint, acromioclavicle joint, sternoclavicle joint. Continuing with the arm, the head of the humerus, the greater trunca, the lesser trunca, the deltoid, the medial epicondyle, lateral epicondyle, the coronoid process, which allows corresponding process of the ulna to move freely when the elbow is extended. Next is the coronoid fossa. Next is the capitulum. Which articulates with the radius. The trachea, head of humerus, or the humerus, the head. The lesser tubercle, and the greater tubercle. Deltoid process, the deltoid tuberosity, lateral epicondyle, medial epicondyle. A coronoid process, the coronoid process, which allows corresponding process of the ulna to move freely when the elbow is flexed. The capitulum, which articulates with the radius. The trochanter articulates with the ulna. And then, I believe one of these is the olecranon fossa. Also allows the corresponding process of the ulna to move freely when the elbow is extended. Continuing with the forearm, pointing to the ulna. The olecranon. The olecranon is this bigger bone here. The coronoid process. The radial styloid process. And here is the radius. Here is the head of the ulna. The head of the ulna. Pointing is the radial tuberosity. Radial tuberosity. And then the radial styloid. Radial styloid process. Next is the carpus. Pointing is the scaphoid, the lunate, the triquetral, the pisiform, the trapezium, the trapezoid, and the capitate, and the hamate. The bones which form the wrist with the forearm bone are the scaphoid, and the lunate. They form the forearm bones. They articulate with the radius and ulna to form the wrist. Moving on with my presentation is the pelvic girdle. The pelvic girdle. The coxal bones are formed by three bones, namely the ilium bone, the pubis bone, and the ischium bone. The ilium bone, the pubis bone, and the ischium bone form the coxal bone. Acetabulum. The acetabulum is somewhere here. Looking at pointing is the acetabulum, the pubis emphasis, or symphysis, excuse me, the pubis symphysis, the obturator forearm, the iliac crest, the anterior inferior iliac crest, in here somewhere, anterior inferior iliac crest. Is it? Anterior inferior iliac crest. The iliac fossa, if I can feel it, iliac fossa, a depression in here is the iliac fossa, and the greater ischiac notch, the greater sciatic notch, the greater sciatic notch is right here. And also the ischiatic spine. The ischiatic spine is in here too. It's a kind of protrusion. And then the ischial tuberosity. The ischial tuberosity, it's a little protrusion here. Ischial tuberosity. You can't see it very well, but it's right there. Oh my goodness. Okay, continuing with the femur. The femur, here is the head. Here is the head of the femur. The greater trochanter, the lesser trochanter, or trochanter. I hope I'm right. Here is the abductor tubercle, the medial epicondyle, lateral epicondyle, patella, supposed to be the kneecap. The kneecap is the patella. Moving on with the tibia, which is the bigger of the two. Here is my tibia. my if I can figure out the skeleton. This is my lateral condyle and my medial condyle. Lateral condyle, medial condyle. Tibia tuberosity. Medial malleus. Inferior tibiofibular joint. Inferior tibiofibular joint, right here where the two bones join. The head of the fibula is right here where it attaches to the tibia, is the head of the fibula. Malleus, lateral malleus is right here at the end of my fibula. And continuing with the tarsus, the talus. The question is, what bone does it articulate with? The talus articulates with the tibia and the fibula superiorly, and the strong calcaneus. Okay, it articulates with the tibia and the fibula superior and strong calcaneus. Cuboid. The calcaneus, that's my calcaneus. Here is my cuboid. This is the navicular bone. Medial cuneiform. Intermediate cuneiform. Medial cuneiform, intermediate cuneiform. Lateral cuneiform. My metatarsus. My phalanges are the 14 bones that make up the finger toes. 14 bones that make up the finger toes. All of this, my phalanges. And that concludes my recording. Thank you.